Well, Quick Dick McDick coming to you from Saskatchewan here with episode 2 of The Life of a Cow. Now, if you missed episode 1, you can click on it on the little link that just showed up in the corner there, and you might want to watch that one before you watch this one. But welcome to part 2, where we get into the best part of being a cow-calf producer, which is calving. Now, if you remember where we left off last time, oh, hey, Blue Ball. We just got everything back to the feedlot. We've weaned all the calves, which means we've split them off of the cows. We've got our replacement heifers in one spot, our bred heifers in another spot, second calvers in another spot, and then our cows in another spot. And we spend till the end of February feeding everything in the feedlot. So now when we get close to the end of February, we need to start switching the feedlot over. We need to bring the cows into the feedlot, which means we're gonna have to empty the steers and heifers out of the feedlot because we need room for calving. So remember we had our feeder heifers, we bring those up and we select what we're gonna keep to breed next year to keep our herd numbers where we want. We call those replacement heifers. So the replacement heifers go to a pen we call the angle pen, and we feed them there for the rest of the winter, and they are going to get turned out in the spring with heifer bulls, and they are going to turn into our bred heifer program. And then the other ones that we're not going to keep, we sell off of the farm. So next we're going to whistle through here, grab the steers, bring them up and weigh them, split them into 2 groups, heavies and lights. Yeah, get up there, boys. Hip, hip, hip. And then we break them into 2 groups according to their weight. They'll be 850 pounds and under will go into one group, and anything over 850 pounds goes into the other group. And we do this because we want uniform groups when we post them online for sale. So we sell the steers online. We use an online platform, and then a liner comes to the ranch, and we load the steers up on a liner, and we ship them to a finishing feedlot. To a finishing feedlot where they're going to take them up to slaughter weight, which is anywhere between adding another 300 to 500 pounds onto them for that optimal slaughter weight of a cow. Now, finishing feedlots are dialed in for this kind of thing. The margins can be pretty thin when you're taking cattle to finish, especially where the prices are at for them right now. But once they leave a finishing feedlot at a prime slaughter weight of anywhere between 12 to 1,500 pounds, depending on what the backer's looking for, that is where they get turned into the products that we buy off the shelf in the grocery store. Now, we don't bring anything to finish here on the farm except for the odd cull cow that we're going to consume on our own because that's the only thing we have time for. We need our time for calving season. So the feeder calves have all been sold. The cows are now up into the feedlot, and it is time for calving. So cows now get fed once a day, and the rest of our time we spend watching for cows that are starting to have a baby. Well, one thing's for sure is it doesn't matter if it's daytime or nighttime. These girls do not mess around when it's time to get a calf out of them, so you got to be ready no matter what. Now, I'll check the girls every hour, hour and a half, depending on what's going on through the night. Mark keeps an eye on them through the day, but we've got these handy-dandy things right up here. If you have a close look right up there, probably can't see it because of the light there, but we've actually got cameras in all these pens and in the barn too. That way, if you're up in the shop working on a brand new loader that's falling apart, you can kind of keep an eye on what's happening without actually having to be there. What would you look at that? Let's get some warm gear on and go see what's happening. Okay, so you can see those feet are starting to come already here. It's just about to protrude the water bag. Now, I've kind of done a video on this before, and you can click on the link and check it out if you want. It's not shot in the right perspective, but when a calf is born, they basically dive into the world. They should be coming out of their mother like this. They got their hooves are down like this and their head is right here. That's how it works. So that's how we know it's coming the right way. If it was coming backwards, its legs would be back like this and its hooves would be up. So that's how we know it's coming the right way. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get her up, and nice and calm, we'll bring her up into a pen in the barn and we'll keep an eye on her here. Come on, girl. Easy. That's a girl. There you go. Nice and easy. That's a girl. Nice and easy. Good girl. That's a girl. There we go. Good girl. All right, so now we're just gonna hang out here. We'll leave her alone, let her relax a little bit, and keep an eye on her. All right, now it's not often that you get to actually catch this happening naturally up close, and I just happened to get in the right spot in a pen close by. She was really good, she laid there, so I'm about to show you this thing coming out of her. So if you got a weak stomach, now's the time where you want to turn away. Thank you for letting me film that so close to your baby. It's kind of nice under here, actually. So now she's gonna keep licking that calf. Now she's licking it for two reasons. Reason number one is to clean it off a little bit. Reason number two is to excite it a little bit, try and get it to stand up, because the next thing we want is for this calf to get a belly full of colostrum, which is the first milk that'll come out of the cow when the calf starts sucking it. Okay, she's done a fantastic job for a heifer. She's got baby up and sucking, so she gets some fresh hay and give her some rolled barley, because we want the barn to be a happy place for them to be. So whenever they get in here, they do a good job. We give them a treat, and then maybe they'll want to come back here next time we need them in here. Good girl. It doesn't always go good. Sometimes it goes kind of tough here. So we've got a girl over here. Now she's been showing signs of calving for almost 2 hours. No feet coming out of her still. So we're going to have to get an arm inside of her and see what's going on. We might have a backwards calf. We might have something going on. So we're going to set up our maternity pen here and we're going to get her in. That's a girl. Nice and easy. All right. Nice and easy, girl. See, you got a friend there, gonna help you through it. Okay guys, we got her in the chute here. So we're just nice
Nice and slowly and calmly here, gonna have a feel inside of her and see what's going on here. Easy girl, it's okay. Okay, we got one hoof, another hoof, and we got a nose there. Okay, baby's alive. Everything seems okay. So I'm just gonna drag one of these feet out. Okay, you know what? Everything's coming the right way, but I got her in the chute here, so I'm just gonna give her some help, and I'll show you how we do this when we pull. All right, so I get our chain here. I just make a little loop around my wrist, and I'm just gonna get inside of her here, and we're gonna grab one leg. Easy, girl. That's it. That's it. We're gonna bring it out. Okay, and we're gonna go, see there, we're gonna go just above the hoop. Tighten it on. Okay, actually, he's a little bit sideways here, so we're definitely gonna give her some help. Okay, so I got one on. I'm gonna grab the other side, loop it. I'm gonna get the next one. Same thing. Bring her around to there. All right, now I'm gonna do something called a half hitch, okay? So what we're gonna do is gonna give this chain a twist, put it around the top of the hoop right here, okay? Then we're gonna get this other one. And I'm gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get them out just a little ways. Easy girl, easy. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing here, half hitch. Just on the middle of the hoop. See, she's pushing already, so this is gonna be just fine here. All right. I'm just gonna grab my handles and give her a quick hand. This is gonna be a nice, easy pull. And I'm just gonna help. Whenever she pushes, just a little bit of help. See, here comes his nose. Let's get her tail out of the way so you guys can see. That's a girl. A little more. Just a little bit of help. Here he comes. A little more pushing. There we go. There. Okay. Hi, buddy. Welcome to the world. A little poke in the nose there. Yeah. Getting some breaths in you. All right. I'm just going to have a feel inside of her here real quick and make sure that there's not another calf in there, because that could have been part of the reason that she was having some issues here. No, we're good. Nothing else inside of her. So we're gonna get baby over to pen underneath the heater and get it with mama here right away. Okay, baby's over in the pen. Yeah, just pop our chute so mama can go backwards. That's a girl. Good girl. Here you go. Hey, right over to baby. And there she is. Hey, good job, girl. You did good. You would not believe the amount of afterbirth that is currently on this phone. So I'm gonna go tidy this phone up and then come back and give her a little bit of hay and some chop. So people are like, quick Dick, don't the chains hurt the calves? Well, no, they don't, because you gotta remember, human skin is not like cow skin. We use cow skin, obviously made in Canada, right? We use cow skin to protect our skin, so we're already pulling on some pretty tough hide, but it's the reason why we do that half hitch. So you put it around their wrist like this, then you put a twist in it, and you basically bring it across their hoof like that, and you're pulling them from two pulling points like that. And to show you that this actually doesn't hurt, I'll do it to myself. See, nothing to it, you guys. Now, how do I get out of here? So everything comes into the barn when it's cold outside, and I figured this is a good opportunity to give you a quick tour of the barn, and I'm doing it from up here on the square bale stack over in the corner. So you can see we've got two side entrances into the barn. Out there is where the cow entrance is when we're bringing them up to the barn, and over on this side is the heifer entrance over there. And everything comes into this middle alleyway here, and we've got pens down either side. 8 pens total where we can bring them in, put them underneath the heater if we need. Now, these infrared heaters are pretty deadly here because actually they don't get the straw hot underneath them, but any actual live organism underneath them gets heated by them, and they're pretty handy, aren't they, buddy? Very toasty. And then we have our maternity pen over there for anything that needs to go in a head gate, maybe get a calf pulled. Or we'll use the maternity pen if we're having a hard time with, say, something learning how to nurse, like a set of twins. See, the thing with twins, they can be a handful sometimes, because here we've got a cow who had 2 calves, right? And one's kind of been getting ignored a little bit, so I had to get her up into the maternity pen here. And we've got the twin that's been getting ignored, sucking and eating a little bit there, so that everybody gets a balanced nutrition, because they both got to eat, not just one, right? Who would have thought it was going to be this tough, girl? So once the calves are up and they've sucked and they're licked off and they're dry and everything's fine, we need the pen for the next calves that are coming in. So to make space for them, we're going to move the cow and their calf out of the pen, and we're going to move them into the back of the barn and the first pen behind the barn that are connected. And we call that place Gen Pop. Now, Gen Pop is a place where the cows learn to be in a group setting with their calf, and so they know how to identify it, and this is where we get to make sure that they can function in a society of cattle and still know how to get to know each other and still do what mother and baby do. And we got to do a couple uncomfortable things that are necessary to the calf before we put them out into Gen Pop. So we take our handy dandy Thanks for Farming Tour lunch kit, which we've transformed into our medical bag. Now, we do what we're about to do to these calves because we have to give them the best chance of survival and not getting sick when they get out into the bigger population of calves, because it's a real susceptible environment for sicknesses and infections, right? So for the boys, we need to get their testicles and we put a little rubber band on them. And what that does is eventually it just squeezes them off and their testicles fall off, because we do not want all of these cows reproducing with each other when we turn them out to pasture in the summer. Otherwise, you would have an absolute disaster on your hands. Vitamins A, D, and E, which this helps in deficiencies, and this helps to prevent against muscular disease. They get 2 of these guys, and that helps prevent coccidiosis. They get a sniff of this up each nostril, which helps prevent pneumonia. And then last but not least, we got to put one of these in their ears so that we know which calf belongs to which cow in case one of them's not getting fed, one of them gets out, or we have something sick and we need to bring it and its mother back up into the barn. So everybody gets to stay back here in Gen Pop for about a day, day and a half. And once everybody's happy and everybody's sucking their mother and everybody knows who's who in the zoo, then everything gets transferred out to their turnout pens. Come on. Now, turnout pens are our high and dry pens, and that's where calves go to be cute. Now, we're almost done the year cycle of the life of a cow. So we calve out 360 head here, and we keep turning them out into their different turnout pens as they calve. Now, there's one step left to do once we're done calving. All right, so we bring them all back in, and then we sort them off. We got the mothers over here, and then we got the babies over here. We're gonna brand and vaccinate the calves. Cows get ivermectin vaccinated to go out to the pasture as well for the summer, and then we bring the bulls up to the barn and we semen test them. Now what that's doing is it's just making sure that the bulls wintered good and their sperm count and motility is good, and they're going to be able to plant a whole bunch of seeds when we turn them back out for seeding again this year. And that's it. Once we're done branding, the cows get turned out with their calves to the holding pastures right around the farm, and we start back over right where we started at part 1 of the life of a cow. So from me and Pee-wee to you, thanks for hanging out and checking out the life of a cow. Yeah, we might have missed a few things like Pee-wee here. He was a premature born, so we're just kind of nursing him to get up and be strong before we can get him on the cow. But if you got any questions, drop them down in the comments. Me and Pee-wee here will do the best we can to answer them for you. And thanks as always for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this longest production I've ever done. Stay tuned to the Quick Take channel for more. Also, before we go here, Pee-wee and I just want to say a special thanks to Mark. And you might ask, well, who's Mark? Well, he's the guy that owns the Bar Ranch. He's nice enough to let me keep my cows here in the winter, and he feeds them while I'm gone out doing all these comedy shows. And he's one of the hardest working bastards you're ever going to meet. Now, he doesn't like being on camera. So I caught this rare footage of Mark and I having an in-depth conversation so you could really get to know who he is. Anyways, thanks, Mark. Take care, folks.